15 of the fantasy baseball season, and here's a few pitchers falling this week. The first guy is Jose Berrios, the Minnesota Twins. So it's been a good season for Berrios, but the last few weeks here, he's been getting hit hard, and a lot of teams are driving the ball for home runs off him as well. So on the season, 114 and a third, 7-4 record, 92 hits, 47 earned runs, 14 homers, 32 walks, 122 strikeouts, 3.69 ERA, a 1.08 WHIP, but only 7 quality starts on the season for Berrios. In the last couple weeks here, 13 innings, 0-1 record, 7 hits, 9 earned runs, 3 homers, 5 walks, 16 Ks, a 6.23 ERA, and an 0.92 WHIP. So right here, the last 2 or 3 outings, he's been hit pretty hard as Berrios, and maybe the trade rumors are getting to him with the trade deadline next week already here in the major leagues. And Berrios, he's been a hot name of discussion over the last few weeks here, with contending teams obviously interested in trading for him, like the Mets, like the Washington Nationals in the mix as well. And even the New York Yankees name has come up. So the last few outings for Berrios, July 6th versus the White Sox, 7 innings, got the loss, 1 hit, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 10 Ks, a 1.29 ERA, 0.57 WHIP in a quality start. July 11th versus Detroit, 7 innings, no decision, 3 hits, 4 earned runs, 4 walks, 8 Ks, a 5.14 ERA, a 1 WHIP. And then July 19th at the White Sox, 6 innings, got the loss, 4 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 homers, a walk, 8 Ks, a 7.50 ERA, and an 0.83 WHIP. So right now, Berrios, he's been struggling, especially the last 2 outings here. And his next outing slated July 24th at the Angels. But right now, we'll see if he gets traded here within the next few days to next week at the trade deadline. But right now, he's not living up to the par of the stats that he had early in the season. And he's the first pitcher falling this week. The second guy, Zach Wheeler of the Philadelphia Phillies. So I recommended earlier in the week is Wheeler as a buy low candidate at the pitching position. And he's been good this season, 7-5 record in 125 and 2/3, 97 hits given up, 34 earned runs, 8 homers, 28 walks, 152 strikeouts, still a great 2.44 ERA, and an 0.99 WHIP with 13 quality starts on the season, which is up there amongst the league leaders. But the last couple weeks here for Wheeler, 2-2 record, 29 hits, 11 earned runs, a homer, 6 walks, 34 strikeouts, 3.38 ERA, a 1.19 WHIP, and 2 quality starts. But the last week for him here is only adding 6 innings, got the win in that one, 4 earned, a homer, 2 walks, 7 Ks, a 6 ERA, and a 1.50 WHIP. So the last 2 outings have been the trouble ones for Wheeler, because he was on a 2-game streak where he didn't give up a run. So the last 3 outings for him, July 2nd versus San Diego, 7 2/3, tough no decision, 4 hits, no runs, 9 Ks, and 0.52 WHIP in a quality start. July 7th at the Cubs, 5 2/3, got the loss, 8 hits, 4 earned runs, a walk, 6 Ks, a 6.35 ERA, and a 1.59 WHIP. And then July 18th versus the Marlins, 6 innings, got the win, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, a homer, 2 walks, 7 Ks, 6 ERA, a 1.33 WHIP. So right here, Wheeler's next outings tonight versus the Atlanta Braves, and we'll see if he turns things around. But right now, after those 2 bad outings, he's definitely a pitcher for him, but he's definitely a guy I look to buy low as well here, because I think he could turn things around and get back to form like he was for most of the season. The next pitcher is Kyle Gibson of the Texas Rangers. So Gibson, another solid pitcher this season, but he's a guy I've said many times to sell high throughout the year here. And on the season for Gibson, 6-2 record, 107 innings, 88 hits, 34 earned runs, 9 homers, 33 walks, 90 strikeouts, a 2.86 ERA, 1.13 WHIP, and 12 quality starts. So Gibson, another guy like Berrios, who I could see getting traded at the trade deadline. This Texas team, Ranger team's not going to go anywhere really this season. They're down in the standings, and they're looking for young players and prospects here for the future. And Gibson definitely could haul them a prospect or 2 in a decent deal. But the last couple weeks here for Gibson, it just hasn't been good for him compared to what he was early in the season. 1-2 record, 25 hits, 14 earned runs, 3 homers, 8 walks, 26 strikeouts, a 5.25 ERA and a 1.38 whip with a quality start. So right now, the ERA is bumped up, and that's what I expected it to happen here with the ERA for most of the season under a 2. So if you were a fantasy owner who had Kyle Gibson on your team and you took my advice early in the season where I said to sell him high, that was definitely the time to do it here, because now those numbers are going down and getting worse, and he's going to have tougher opponents, and especially if he gets traded to another team here, it could be tougher and for him to adjust more. So the last few outings for Gibson, July 7th versus Detroit, 6 in the third, got the loss, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, a homer, 2 walks, 7 Ks, a 7.11 ERA, and a 1.58 whip. And then July 19th at the Tigers, 5 innings, got the loss, 10 hits, 8 earned runs, a homer, 2 walks, 2 Ks, a 14.40 ERA, and a 2.40 whip. So right here, the numbers haven't been good. And we'll see if Gibson gets traded, and we'll see if he bounces back in his next outing, July 25th at the Astros. But right now, he's a pitcher definitely falling this week. The next pitcher is Darvish of the San Diego Padres. So Darvish, he got off to a roaring start the first 2 months of the season here. And on the season, 110 2/3, 7-4 record, 85 hits, 38 earned runs, 14 homers, 26 walks, 128 strikeouts. Still a good 3.09 ERA, a 1 whip and 10 quality starts on the season. But the last couple weeks here for Darvish, he's definitely taken a turn for the worse. His numbers, 8 2/3, 0-1 record, 12 hits, 8 earned runs, 2 homers, 2 walks, 5 Ks, an 8.31 ERA, and a 1.26 whip here for Darvish. So Darvish, he's on a good San Diego team that obviously will try to win the division or get one of the wild card spots here this season. But it's been a struggle for him. The last 3 outings here for him is Darvish. July 3rd at Philly, 6 innings, got the loss, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 homers, a walk, 8 Ks, 6 ERA, a 1.17 whip. July 8th versus Washington, 3 innings, no decision, 8 hits, 6 earned runs, a homer, 2 Ks, an 18 ERA, and a 2.67 whip. And then July 20th at the Braves, decent outing, nothing special, 5 2/3, got the loss, 4 hits, 2 runs, a homer, giving up 2 walks, 3 Ks, a 3.18 ERA, and a 1.06 whip. So right now, teams are starting to hit Darvish well, and there's peaks and valleys with Darvish where sometimes he just don't stay as consistent, and there's games where he gets bombed. And right now, over the last few weeks here, he's definitely a pitcher falling, and the 5th and final pitcher falling is Edwin Diaz of the New York Mets. So Edwin Diaz, he got off to a great start the first 2-3 months of the season, but the last couple weeks here is where he's starting to get hit hard, and he's starting to blow saves and not help fantasy owners, obviously, with blowing saves, getting losses in this time, and the ERA and whip definitely flying up as well. So on the season for Diaz, 37 2/3, 3-4 record, 19 saves, 31 hits, 18 earned runs, a homer, 16 walks, 54 strikeouts, 4.30 ERA, and a 1.25 whip. So those numbers, after all now, after the great start he got off to, they're not that eye-popping in my opinion, especially the 4.30 ERA for a close of the season. So right here, he's blown 3 saves in the last couple weeks here is Diaz. And this Met bullpen's been taxed as well, and it's definitely catching up to Diaz and other relievers on this team, like Seth Lugo. We've seen Aaron Loop have a couple bad outings here and there, Miguel Castro, and now Diaz. They've just been working him a lot here, and the Mets have won a lot of close games this season. So the last couple weeks for Diaz, 4 innings pitched, 0-2 record, 1 save, 7 hits, 7 earned runs, a homer, 3 walks, 9 Ks, a 15.75 ERA, and a 2.50 whip. And within the last month here for Diaz, it's not any better. 9 2/3, 2-2 record, 4 saves, an 8.38 ERA, 1.76 whip, 8 walks, and 16 strikeouts. So right here, it's been trouble for Diaz. Like I said, I think he's overtired, and teams are finally figuring him out once again, like they did 2 seasons ago, where he was getting hit left and right. So right here, he's definitely a pitcher falling, and a guy definitely struggling. So that's a few pitchers falling here in Week 15 of the fantasy baseball season.